Hey y'all, Crystal here from ChristaCoDesign. Today we are making the Boho bag, which is made with one skein of Bernat pop yarn, which is a number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. So you'll need about 280 yards of number 4 yarn, maybe a little more. If your gauge is not spot on with mine, you might use a little bit more. So be aware. I'm using a 5mm hook. This is my Peach Odyssey. If you want to use a button, you'll also need about 1 1/8" diameter button. So let's see. We are going to start with a magic circle, magic loop, magic ring. Has lots of names, and I can link up a specific tutorial for that. But we are going to do one and start double crocheting into it. So to get it secure, we're going to go ahead and make 3 chains, and those will count as my first double crochet. Now I'm going to place 9 more double crochets in the center, and you can see I'm working over both the ring and the long tail. So let's get 10 double crochets total in the magic circle, and then we'll pull it closed. Remember that first chain 3 will count as our first double crochet. Okay, so that is 10. To close a magic ring, you just pull this tail and it slides closed. Okay, now we're going to join our round with a slip stitch, and to do that we're going to go into that top of that 3rd chain we made, which is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And slip stitch that together like so. All right, so that's round 1. We'll pull it tight. So when you're all finished, you want to make sure you weave that in well so that it doesn't pull open or come loose or anything. All right, so now we're going to start round 2, and we just start with a chain 3. You can use a chain 3 alternative or a regular chain 3. So starting right where we are, which is back into that 3rd chain, I'm going to do my chain 3 alternative. Oops. And I'll link that tutorial up as well if you need a step-by-step. Then we are going to go back into the same stitch and make another double crochet. And then we're going to continue placing 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Sorry. There we go. And 2 double crochets in each stitch around. Okay, this is our last stitch of the round This is the last stitch of our round here. So we're going to place our 2 double crochets, and then it is time to join. Here's our standing chain 3 stitch we started with. If you did regular chain 3, you'll have 3 chains, and you're going to slip stitch to the top of the 3rd chain. Since I used an alternative, I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of that. There we go, and that's round 2. So now we've increased to 20 stitches. For round 3, we're going to start the same way with our chain 3 or alternative in the same stitch. Double crochet back into the same spot. Then we're just going to place 1 double crochet in the next, and 2 double crochets in the one after that. Then we'll go back to 1 double crochet, and now that will be our repeat around. We'll do 2 in the next, 1 in the following. Just repeat that around, which means we'll end with a single double crochet in the last stitch. Okay, here's our last stitch of the round. So we are placing 1 double crochet there, and then it's time to join. Slip stitch to the top of your chain 3 or alternative stitch. And for round 4, we'll start the same way. Chain 3, alternative, double crochet in the same spot. In the next stitch, we're going to place 1 double crochet, and then in the following stitch, we are going to place 1 double crochet. And now we're going to repeat around 2 double crochets, 1 and 1. So 2 double crochets in our next stitch, 1 in the following, and 1 in the next, and then we start over. 2 double crochets, last 2 stitches, we'll place 1 double crochet in each of those, and then we're going to join the round to the top of the 3rd chain with the slip stitch. All right, for round 5, we are doing it in the same way. Let's start with the a chain 3 or alternative, double crochet in the same stitch. But this time we are going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So we're going to go 1, 1, and 1. And then now we'll repeat 2 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 3. Okay, slip stitch that round together. For round 6, this is where we're going to start the main stitch pattern that we see. So our circle here is, let's see, is that about 5.5 inches wide? Okay, so here we're going to start with a chain of 6, and it's going to count as our double crochet and a chain 3 for our stitch pattern on this round. So I'm just going to do chains instead of my alternative. You can see how nice they worked up here. 1, 2, 3. So this chain will be the top of our what counts as our double crochet. Keep chaining. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that counts as 3 chains, or chain 3. We're going to skip this stitch and we're going to double crochet into the next. So we have 1 DC, chain 3, 1 DC. We've skipped only 1 stitch in between. So now we're going to repeat around. Chain 3, skip, double crochet. All right, so here we're at the end of the round. We've just done the double crochet into the next stitch, so we have 1 stitch left. It's time to chain 3 and skip that stitch, and then we're going to join it to the top of the third round. I'm sorry, the third chain, which counts as our double crochet. Okay, so there's our round 6. Okay, so for round 7, we're actually going to be using this stitch in the row before that we skipped. So this double crochet, this one, and this one. Okay, we're going to start with the chain 3. Then we're going to slip stitch down on that double crochet, trying to make it so you can see that. There we go. And then we're going to chain 3 again. And then we're going to slip stitch this one to the top of the next double crochet from the round we just finished. There. I'm going to pull up a loop here to set this down. Okay, so we've made a little V stitch sort of thing out of chains. So chain 3, slip stitch it down to this double crochet, chain 3, slip stitch it up to this double crochet. Now we're going to keep repeating that around. So I'll do it here. Chain 3, slip stitch it down, chain 3, slip stitch it up. So we're just filling in that big chain 3 space we made with our little these stitches, and we're just going to do that around for each space. Okay, I'm going to finish up this round off camera, and then I'll come back and show you how to finish the round at the end, and we'll start the next round together. Okay, we're at the end of round 7, and I have slip stitched my first chain 3 down. Now it's time to make the last chain 3 of the round and slip stitch it up, which is the final one. So here's my first chain 3 I made of the round and slip stitch down. So I'm just going to go in up here to the first chain 1 spot there I made and slip stitch it to that bottom of that part of the V. Okay. All right, so for round 8, we are going to chain 6. You can do a chain 3 alternative, or just, a chain 3 alternative and 3 more chains, or just a chain 6. I'm going to go in and do a chain 3 alternative. So that counts as a double crochet. And we're going to chain 3 more. Okay. So now we're going to use a back post double crochet, and we're going to skip over this V chain 3 space, and we're going to work around these double crochets that are in between the V's. Back post double crochet means you insert your hook from the back to the front. So we yarn over, we're going to go from the back to the front, across the post of the double crochet, the double crochet, and I'm just folding my work down and over so you can see. Yarn over and pull that back across the front of the post there to the back. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay. We'll do that again. We are chain 3, skip the V, back post double crochet around this stitch. Okay, so we're essentially making the same stitch pattern we started with, but we're using a back post double crochet, chain 3, skip the V, back post double crochet around, chain 3, skip the V, oops, back post double crochet, okay, I'm going to finish this round off camera, and then I'll show you how we finish up on this round as well. Okay, so now we're at the end of round 8, and we have our last chain 3, and we've already back post before that. So now we're going to slip stitch this to the third chain, or the top of your chain 3 alternative, like I've done from our first stitch there, to join the round. Okay, on to round 9. We're going to start with the chain 3, and we are going to slip stitch it down to the chain 3 from the previous round. So not the one we just did, but this one here that's in between our first set of V's. Okay, so if we're on round 9, this was round 8. This was what? Round 7. So this is actually round 6. So chain 3, and then we're going to slip stitch it down here. And then we're going to chain 3 again. And we'll slip stitch that to the top of the double crochet there from the round we just did. Okay, so this is chain 3, slip stitch it to the chain 3 from round 6, which is the one that goes in between the V's. So it's easy to see. Then we chain 3, slip stitch it down here to that chain 3, chain 3 again, slip stitch it to the top of the double crochet from this round. So we are kind of stacking our V's, right? So you can see here, once we chain our 3, then we're going to slip stitch it to this spot, chain 3 again, slip stitch it to this double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to finish up this round and I'll show you the ending and we'll carry on to the next. All right, we are at the end now. So we are going to take our last chain 3 to finish our V and slip stitch it to the first chain that we made there. There we go. Okay, so that's the end there of round 11. The rest of the bag is repeats of rounds 10 and 11. So you're going to start with your back post double crochets and chain 3s. So you can go back and look at that round if you need to. So you just set up your blocks with your spaces, and then on the next round, the round's 11, you're going to do your chain 3 V stitches where you slip stitch it down to the chain 3 before, which is this one that's between the V's, and you back post double crochet to that. So I'll get you started for a round 10 repeat here. So we're going to chain 6, oops, oh goodness, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we are going to skip the V, back post double crochet on the back post double crochets that are between V's. Oh goodness, sorry. There we go. And this third chain here counts as our first double crochet. All right, chain 3, back post double crochet, around that back post double crochet, and we're just going to repeat that around. So I'll go ahead and do one more round each of 10 and 11 so you can see how they work up as repeats. And I'll come back around and show you how to finish round 10 and start round 11 as well. Okay, we're at the end of our round 10 repeat, so we have a chain 3, let's see, oh sorry, I was looking at the wrong round. Chain 3, we're going to skip our V, and then we're back at the beginning of our round here, so we're going to slip stitch to the third chain to close that round there. And then we are going to start round 11 repeat, which starts with a chain 3, slip stitching it down to the chain 3 space that's between your V's, chain 3 again, slip stitch to the top of your back post double crochet you did. There you go. Okay, we are ending a round 11 repeat here. We're on our last V block thing. Chain 3, slip stitch down to the chain 3 space there, chain 3 again, and slip stitch it to the top here. And then you just keep repeating those 2 rounds until your bag is as tall as you like, or 15 times, let's see, 16 times total. So 1, 2, 3. We have three sets here, so we would need 13 more repeats, so 16 total. You can see how it's the chain 3 back post stitches create the inside mesh of the bag, and the chain 3 V stitches that we slip stitch create the outside texture. Okay, so I'm going to keep repeating 10 and 11 until this is bag size, and then I will show you the last round and we'll get the strap started and everything. Okay, so once your bag is as tall as you like, or you have done at least 15 sets of the rounds 10 and 11, if you're doing just the one skein pattern, you're probably close on yarn. Okay, so the last round I worked was around 11, so I have my V's here and the chain 3 from the round before back there. So now I'm just going to do for the last round a chain 4, which will count as the first double crochet and a chain 1. And then I am going to double crochet 2 around this chain 3 space. I'm going to do a chain 1 and double crochet 2 times around the next chain 3 space. And I'm just going to repeat that around. Okay, so once we're back around to the end, we have our 2 double crochets in this chain 3 space, a chain 1. So to finish it, we're going to place a double crochet right here in this slip stitch that we used to join. And then we're going to slip stitch that double crochet to the 3rd chain of the chain 4 that we started. And that's the end of our last round. Now, what we're going to do is work our strap next. So to do that, we are going to slip stitch over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn. So now we're going to start here in this double crochet space, and we're going to single crochet to this, just going to go into, this one, 3, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to go ahead and make it 8 wide so we get those 2, 4, 6, and the 2 in between. It's nice and centered. So 8 single crochet stitches across. Then we're just going to repeat, and now we can work into our single crochets for the full length of our strap. And this is something you can adjust to your height needs if you need a longer or shorter strap. So here's my last one, and that's just my join chain 1 starting spot there. Okay. Now we'll just keep repeating that single crochets for at least 15 inches. Like I said, you can do more. And then once I have my strap done, I'll show you how to join it up on the other side. So we can slip stitch it on across here basically. Okay, once your strap is as long as you need, at least 15 inches, since we're doing it on the short end, it's very stretchy, so it is going to stretch depending on how much weight you put into your bag. Once you have it as long as you need, you're just going to match it up on the opposite side and slip stitch it there. So let me flip this over. So here I have where I started, it's kind of folded in half. So I'm going to match it up on the opposite side here. There we go. Now I'm looking at the right side, and when I slip stitch something, I want to actually be on the wrong side. So then I'm going to fold it over this way. So the inside of the bag is here, and I can match up my stitches like so. So I'm going to pull up a little bit longer loop and just go into my first stitch and then the stitch across and pull that through, pull that up a little bit looser, and repeat that in the next stitch. And then I'm just going to keep doing that across the width of my strap, matching it up stitch for stitch. Pull up a long loop, and then I'll cut that. There's my slip stitch join right there. I'll cut that and weave in my ends. My bag is finished. You can hand sew on a button if you like to button it closed.